Hello, hello, hello. I am Jack. I am back and I know best. And once again, the ManningCast 2.0 comes to Jack Knows Best, as does Leo, the cat who likes all of the attention. Leo doesn't know best. I know best. And we will see if the other Manning brother knows best. And if you would like to see if you know better than the other Manning, use promo code nonsense when you sign up on underdog.com. Welcome back to the other Manning, Mike Manning, and may I say my favorite Manning, @_Mike Manning. How's it going, my friend?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good today. Pretty good. Ready to take your money once again. Like, pretty excited about that, as always.
I was thinking when you were saying all the stuff about the other Manning, I was like, how far down the totem pole am I?
Oh, no, you're number one. You are absolutely my number one favorite Manning.
I'm not even my favorite Manning.
Oh, come on. Give yourself some credit there. All right. And so for anyone that has not joined us before, you know the drill, but we will be joining Best Ball Resurrection, hopping in there now. And with that, we will be doing a best ball draft, doing the tournament, seeing if we can win. I can't remember how much this one is, actually. Doesn't matter anyways. I'll accept however much money that I ended up winning. So are you in the draft? There are 9 people we're waiting for.
Yep.
All right. Well, we will wait a little bit until we get closer to the draft in order to explain the rules, make sure everyone understands what's going on here. But in the meantime, why don't you plug your pluggables, anything that you've got going on in the background? I know you do a lot of work for ImportantNonsense.com.
Yeah, you just got to make sure the biggest one is a weekly article doing the wide receiver cornerback matchups to be able to target and to avoid. They come out every Thursday, and it'll help you out for redraft, dynasty. It'll help you out for the daily fantasy. Anything you can think of, it'll give you a little bit of a boost and give that edge that can push you over to maybe winning the $1 million daily ones or even just beating your best friend.
It is a valuable asset that I make sure I read each and every week because defenses are defenses are very important, and they can you start your studs, but the back of the roster guys, the guys that we're not sure about, they're the ones that it really pays off for them. Which third receiver could be going off? Am I right?
Yeah. Did you happen to start, Sterling Shepard over Rondale Moore, and it just happened to be Rondale Moore's boom week or something like that because he's going up against a terrible slot cornerback? That's what you got to look at.
Very smart, very important, and very effective. And so we are still waiting on 3 more people. If anyone here would like to join us, just remember to use promo code nonsense when you sign up. And so before we start this, some news. The Seattle Seahawks worked out Blake the Boat Bortles. Are you excited about that? Blake Bortles versus Geno Smith for QB1?
I mean, with them playing the Steelers this week, I think we'll luckily avoid Blake Bortles this week. So, I don't have to think about it too much. But, rest of the Seattle season, never know. The Boat has just never seemed to be able to leave football, so could have some magic left in him.
How do you not love the Boat? Like, let's be honest. He is just... It's Blake Bortles. Like, he is so much fun. His other career would be a construction worker if he wasn't playing in the NFL, smoking cigs, smoking darts. So how do you not love the guy? And thankfully, we still get to watch him play football, hopefully, this season.
My dad being a construction worker and a contractor himself, hey, gotta love it. Gotta love the blue collar.
And so speaking of blue collar, the Pittsburgh Steelers have signed wide receiver Anthony Miller to the practice squad. could he be competing for the vacated role by Juju Smith? Oh, and we are filled and we are starting. So we'll get back to your Anthony Miller thoughts real soon. We're going to spin the wheel of wow. It's going to tell us which position we will be picking in the first round.
Oh, boy.
Oh.
We had such a good run last week, and now this is just off to a terrible, terrible start.
Well, this is also the cruel wheel, unfortunately, as well. I neglected to... I cleared some cookies, and then I lost the history that had me on the old wheel, the kinder wheel, and now we're stuck with the wheel that I created that is just purely sadistic.
I saw that there was at least tight end spots now, so I don't have to worry about thinking too much as to if there was a flex left.
Yeah, that is one of the better things about my wheel, but Steve's wheel is just a lot better. Yeah. So my top 3 quarterbacks, I am not going with Patrick Mahomes. I am going with one of these 3. I'm not going to tell you which, but I don't think Patrick Mahomes is QB1.
This has to be the lowest that people have thought of Patrick Mahomes since he's started at all. Like, since he started for the Chiefs, this has to be the lowest he has been, right?
Oh, absolutely. Like and it's not his fault. Don't get me wrong. I'm not criticizing him. It's just Kansas City in general. I know they're going to be in shootouts because that defense is so bad. I know he's going to have to put it on his back, but he doesn't have the rushing upside of these 3, sorry. He doesn't run anywhere near as much, and so his fantasy ceiling is ultimately capped compared to these 3. And it's something we all should have seen coming. It's something I kind of talked about in the preseason, but it is what it is. So who will I be taking first? And where are you picking? Are you picking? Oh, you are picking. Of course.
The very end.
Of course you are. All right. Well,
to help us out for when we spin.
Yeah, even better. I will be taking QB1, Kyler Murray. And I see Fun Guy Hates Stats, friend of the show, Josh Larkey, is in this draft, and I'm embarrassed that I'm going to have to follow the wheel in front of him. He's going to be scratching his head wondering why my picks are so terrible.
I mean, I'm sure that over half the people that we draft with end up thinking that, especially whenever we get spins like this.
Absolutely, but I don't care about everyone else's opinion. I do care about Josh's, though. So I will have to explain my way out of this one after the fact. But he goes with Tyreek Hill ahead of Dalvin Cook, ahead of Ezekiel Elliott, ahead of Aaron Jones.
So that's an interesting one. I definitely would have looked at one of the running backs instead.
Well, Cook is injured, so I completely get that. Zeke and Tyreek Hill, that's a closer one, but Tyreek Hill has unlimited upside.
Mm-hmm. It's just he's seemed to be extremely best ball oriented this year.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's that. We'll spin the wheel and make sure you get your second pick in on time. But yeah, that's him. That's him most years, to be honest. He is so touchdown dependent.
Wide receiver, okay.
So you get to maybe you get to stack. Who is my wide receiver going to be? Deandre Hopkins is available. He might not be. I could stack him with Kyler. Oh, you son of a you.
You read my mind on the stack. Obviously, you would have thought I would have done Mahomes if Tyreek was still there, because I do think that would be a better stack. But you can't go wrong with this, and they're just going to improve. Stephon Diggs is going to have his big game soon.
Yeah, he's getting the targets. He's getting the receptions. All he's missing is the touchdowns. And Emmanuel Sanders can't. I mean, maybe he can't keep it up forever, but he's not going to score all of the touchdowns forever.
History says he won't keep it up forever.
Yeah. And Dawson Knox, again, he's been great in the touchdown department, but it's not. You can't keep Stephon Diggs down for long. Also, I love this name, Chalupa Batman. Did you ever watch the show The League?
Yes.
Fantastic.
The baby,
show.
Yeah.
Oh, and he gets Dalvin Cook in the second round. That is spicy. and Chalupa Batman. Oh, I am on the clock. I will be taking DeAndre Hopkins in my Cardinal stack. We are going all in on MVP Kyler Murray because we have to.
Getting the stacks, baby.
Yeah. And so Kyler Murray, he's up there for MVP candidate. Lamar Jackson, he's up there for MVP candidate. Patrick Mahomes, as much as Kansas City has struggled, he's always in the running for MVP. He's the best player in all of the NFL on offense. And then Josh Allen's playing pretty phenomenal. Justin Herbert. Where is your thoughts at in terms of the MVP and the QB1?
I think that as of right now, it probably has to be Kyler based on you're going to have to add the tiebreaker of how the team is doing as well. So that just looking at only MVP, that's it for the voting. And I think that Kyler has to still be the number one there because the team is just still unstoppable at this point. San Fran did the best out of anybody at containing him. So we'll have to see if defenses kind of like take that blueprint.
I think that if we're talking for the best team, so you think the Cardinals over the Bills? You think the Cardinals over the Chargers?
Yeah, I do think that they're still the best team right now. They've not let up against their strong competition. They've played, teams like the Rams that are one of the better teams in the NFL. The Chargers have played teams like the Browns and the Cowboys, so they've all had their times of like showing what they can do, and they've also had slumps where, the Chargers did not look great against the Cowboys. And even the Bills, obviously the Bills didn't look great against the Steelers, but they've been on a tear ever since.
So I just looked it up. Unfortunately, the Cardinals do not play either the Bills or the Chargers. That is quite sad. Superflex up next. We can take whatever we want. But yeah, I think I'm look at the rest of the Cardinals schedule. They do get the Browns. That's going to be spicy this weekend. They get the Packers later in the season, but it's a lot of winnable games. It's a lot like the Cowboys they get the Cowboys at the end of the season, but the Lions, the Bears, the Seahawks, it's a lot of winnable games for the Cardinals. You might be right in terms of the ceiling for Kyler Murray.
Every sport, whenever it comes to the most valuable player, it's who's the best player on the best team is a lot of the time going to win it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that it's all about the narratives, but Lamar Jackson certainly stuck his claim there.
Well, he's making his case. Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah, unfortunately, even as a Ravens fan, I don't think the Ravens are the best team, even in the AFC. I think Lamar will have them in every game. They can win any game because of Lamar, but their roster just isn't on par with the Chargers and with the Bills from top to bottom.
And I think we saw that even with the secondary was showing its lack of depth. Even this past week against a team that doesn't have the strongest offense in the world.
Michael Pittman had a low-key breakout.
Yeah, Michael Pittman looked great, but that's the first time that they let a number one wide receiver go either over 50 yards or score a touchdown this year. So it's just starting to catch up to them, maybe. You never know. Because after Marlon Humphrey, and he even limped around a little bit near the end of the game.
Yeah, he's a little bit banged up. Anthony Averett, he's a hit or miss player. And so you'll be taking Superflex with your first pick, and I'm not going to show you until you decide who you're picking.
That was not ideal.
Back. Not ideal?
No, it was not.
Oh, running back as well for your second one.
Oh, for the second one, it's going to be running back?
Superflex for your first one. Sorry. I thought you already knew it was Superflex. Yeah.
I remember the first one being Superflex.
And now running back. I think it's based on ADP, it's pretty clear who you're taking. Are you going to go outside of ADP here?
I am.
Oh, yes, sir. You are. I like it a lot. I am a big Javonte Williams fan.
I expected the Cordaro Patterson train's going to eventually come to a halt.
Is that because of the age or the efficiency that you don't think he can keep it up?
I think it's the general usage rate. Like his snaps are not anything that should be sustainable. And so it's basically the mentality of if you think Calvin Ridley once back with the team and once Kyle Pitts gets moving a bit, if these guys are going to start taking their share, because we haven't seen that yet. Kyle Pitts just had his first big game. Calvin Ridley still has yet to have one of his normal games that you would expect from him on this entire year. So once the actual pass catchers at the wide receiver and the tight end position get healthy, get back to the team, and get going, unless they don't, there's a chance they don't get going the rest of the year. And then if they don't, Cordaro Patterson is going to continue his streak, likely.
Well, and the thing is, we have definitely seen Cordaro Patterson's best game of the season. We have not seen the best from Chase Edmonds quite yet. That's why I'm taking Chase Edmonds. And we get the little stack with Kyler Murray because he is the pass catching back. So he does have positive correlation with Kyler Murray, but he also has negative correlation with Kyler Murray. So when Kyler Murray isn't doing well and they're running the ball, Chase Edmonds is going to get a lot of those carries.
Yeah, and that's going to be it's at least you aren't going to see the fighting in the red zone. So it's either Chase Edmonds having his big catches and his big plays or the frequent targets compared to James Conner trying to take some of those goal line to carries.
And James Conner is dominating a lot of the goal line carries, but he's not taking all of them. Chase Edmonds heading into this season, he had one career goal line rush. He's got, I think, 3 or 4 now, so it's better than it was.
Already over doubling your previous career high.
Yeah, it couldn't get worse, and it didn't. So,
especially with someone of James Conner's efficiency in the 5-yard line, like once they got into the 10, inside the 10, inside the 5 for the Steelers,
he's looked awful. He's looked so terrible.
Conner,
yeah.
Overall, yes. But he plots forward and he gets to the end zone when he's inside the 5.
Yeah, he looks good in the fantasy box scores because he's scoring the touchdowns. But in terms of an actual running back, like when he's not getting a carry on the 2-yard line, it's like, why? You just wasted your time.
He aged like Gurley, essentially, is what it's seeming like.
Yeah, he aged so quickly. And, like, again, that's just father time coming for us all. Oh, I guess I do have to pick our next position if I'm going to draft here, which is a... Come on. Oh, no, a tight end.
Hooray. Glad you go first.
Oh, I get TJ Hawkinson or Mark Andrews. What? Oh, well, you know what? TJ Hawkinson has the higher ADP, but Mark Andrews has outperformed him so far. TJ Hawkinson, 3 targets last week.
It's a confusing and certainly a concerning thing because Swift is continuing his tear. He's going to get his targets, and he has every game. It seems like there's a wide receiver out of the bunch between Amon-Ra St. Brown and Khalif Raymond that seem to like vulture some targets from elsewhere.
And even Cordaro Hodge, like he was the go-to guy on the 2-point conversion and scored. Like, I know it's Cordaro Hodge, he's nothing special, but he's getting plays schemed up for him, and TJ Hawkinson isn't. So that's why I took Mark Andrews. I have
to think that it is partly due to this injury he's been dealing with. He has a knee injury that's been hampering him in practice. So I believe that because there was concern if he was going to even play last week, and I thought he was going to be ending up doubtful.
So I shouldn't give up on TJ Hawkinson yet. Are you saying I should regret my choice of Mark Andrews?
No, you made the right choice.
Okay.
If I was in the situation, I would have done the exact same choice.
But we're still in on TJ Hawkinson in general. We're not pushing the panic button just yet.
I think that it's a tough one to hit the panic button on because of the talent and what he showed in the beginning of the season. I mean, he showed you a massive ceiling.
So running back with your second pick here. Tight end with your first. TJ Hawkinson. You're lucky. No, because Kittle's on IR. Never mind. But you were lucky he fell to you.
Yeah. After that, I mean, it was probably going to be Dawson Knox. But I wouldn't have felt great.
No, that is a steep drop off from TJ Hawkinson all the way down to Dawson Knox. And Josh Jacobs with your second pick. We're still going with the Raiders here?
I mean, you don't love the situation, and that's not something that we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about fantasy football. And Jacobs has looked good since his return. So if they continue to, maybe they'll look more to feeding Jacobs now that he's getting healthy.
Well, and it's not like Derek Carr is a slouch either. Derek Carr is a professional quarterback. He's been through plenty of head coaches throughout. Oh, come on, Josh. How dare you pick Leonard Fournette there? How dare you, sir? I am not impressed. Gonna force me to take Chris Carson and his battered neck? Yeah, that's what I'm gonna have to do.
Because it's okay. The pinched nerve or something.
He's got a chronic neck injury that's gonna
Yeah, anytime you see chronic, it's not really a ideal thing.
Yeah, it's not ideal. There's improvement with the sore neck. I don't love this pick, but it's either him or Zach Moss or Damian Harris because I'm not drafting the injured players. So
it's a tough to draft an injured player this early.
Yeah. All right. That. Even if Chris Carson is slightly injured, he's less injured than the rest of the squad.
But then there's looking at the lack of efficiency that'll be there with the offense now with Geno there instead of Russ.
Less efficiency, but does he have to get relied on more? He sees the downslope in the production in terms of efficiency, but he sees the uptick in terms of the actual carries, dump off, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. It was intriguing to see how they used the rest of the running backs whenever Carson wasn't there. It was a strange mix of mostly Alex Collins, and then you saw a basic split between DJ Dallas and Travis Homer, with Dallas getting the 2-minute drill and stuff like you would expect. But it was a lot more there was more Travis Homer than I expected.
See, people say that, but Travis Homer started over DJ Dallas over at the University of Miami. Now, granted, Dallas was transitioning from wide receiver, so yes, it makes sense he would have that pass catching upside. But Travis Homer, he deserves some respect. I quite enjoy Travis Homer.
I think it's just more the combination of I would have less expected a 3-headed monster, but then again, it's Seattle, so I guess I can't find it too crazy. But if you're going to pick a player similar to Alex Collins, but you pick Alex Collins ahead of him in the first place to get a majority of the bulk carries, then use him to run the ball. Plus, he looked good.
Yeah, Alex Collins. People forget that at one point, he was a 3rd-round pick in fantasy football. Did you remember that?
A stud for the Baltimore Ravens.
Yep, before he was with the Ravens. And then do you remember what happened? He was put in a committee with Kenneth Dixon. And who else was he in a committee with? I can't remember the other guy in the committee. And then they all lost the job to Gus Edwards. But that's how recent it was. That was 2018. Gus Edwards hasn't been around that long. Gus Edwards stole the job from Alex Collins, and now Alex Collins stealing the job from Chris Carson, potentially?
Who knows?
All right, so quarterback here. Trey Lance, quite a bit of upside here, but we don't know how long he's going to be starting. We get quite a bit. Sam Darnold has all the rushing ability in the world. The problem here is I cannot stack anyone at this point. Because Lamar Jackson's gone for Mark Andrews, and then I have no receivers. So that is problematic.
Yeah, we didn't get lucky in that department.
That is problematic.
We already stacked the receiver that we have.
Yeah. He's a problem. Ooh. Bo Burnham quote there. Geez. What do I want to do here? Sam, I'm not taking... Am I taking Trey Lance? No. No, Sam Darnold's going to rebound. He's been playing well. The rushing TDs won't last, but the interceptions won't last either, and he'll start throwing for more touchdowns. And the fact that they've unlocked him even just a little bit, we're going with Sam Darnold here.
I mean, it's not like having CMC back is going to be a problem for his production. It's going to be nothing but a good thing for it.
Yeah, he loves those dump offs to Christian McCaffrey. As we saw, like Chuba Hubbard even benefited from them. And Chuba Hubbard, Canadian, love the guy. He's no Christian McCaffrey.
No, not quite. There's a little bit less explosiveness there.
All right, so I'm going to get you to lock in your QB on your side, and then I'll spin the wheel. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
And wheel of wow, 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 wow. Ooh.
Well, we had to win at some point.
Yep. Are there any Panthers receivers for me to stack with? Nope. Not like I really even want to stack Robbie Anderson. Oh, there is Robbie Anderson way down here. So that's good. I can still rely on him. And that would also imply that Terrace Marshall is somewhere down on the list as well. This could be worse. You know, Sam Darnold, his receiver's still there. We got the stacking opportunity down the board. Ryan Tannehill and Corey Davis. So you're still a believer in Zach Wilson then?
It's like been said on almost any show for looking at the Jets. They're going to be in garbage. We believe in garbage time. Perfectly fine. We understand that that's a thing. We will always feel good about it, but we're all for it.
You know what's hilarious? Last night, Space Ghost Force, he said the exact same thing. I asked, do you believe in Zach Wilson? I believe in garbage time. Great minds.
They're going to have to throw it.
Think alike. That is hilarious.
There's no doubt that the Jets are going to have to throw the ball.
All right. I have a receiver in mind here. I don't want... Okay, Josh takes Rob Gronkowski. That's what I was worried about, him stealing my guy. And it's unfortunate because Laviska Shenault, he didn't do anything for majority of the game. He didn't get any targets, wasn't getting the receptions. Instead, they were relying on Tavon Austin.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
I think Jamal Agnew and Tavon Austin over doubled Marvin Jones and Laviska Shenault in targets somehow.
Yep. And you know what's funny though? Laviska Shenault, 1 reception, 50 yards. So I am going to believe in the talent. Laviska Shenault off the board.
He's probably been one of the biggest situations where an off-season darling, consensus darling, has just not panned out.
Mm-hmm. And you know who I blame for that? It's Urban Meyer.
Oh,
this is Urban Meyer's fault. Urban Meyer, I've said it since he was hired. Urban Meyer is a grifter. Urban Meyer is a fraud. Urban Meyer is going to keep Trevor Lawrence from hitting his potential. However, Laviska Shenault and Trevor Lawrence are talented. We cannot forget that. So, bet on the talent. It's going to rebound eventually. Laviska Shenault, 1 reception, over 50 yards. Like that, even on limited target share, it's gonna work out in the wash, especially in a best ball.
Yeah, and even with his limited target share that he's had, I'm pretty sure he leads the league in broken tackles after the catch. It's just, he's just such a playmaker that you have to wonder why they won't get the ball to him more often.
Well, have you heard Urban Meyer's new plan for the Jacksonville Jaguars? He thinks that every game they need to hit wide receiver up next, and those wide receivers will, hopefully for the Jacksonville Jaguars, be catching 250 yards worth in passing, and in the running game, they're hoping for 250 yards rushing. Do you know how many times Urban Meyer did that in college?
Even at Ohio State, I'd have to guess not very often.
0. Urban Meyer did not do it at Ohio State. Ryan Day has done it multiple times since Urban Meyer left Ohio State.
He has optimism, I guess.
Yeah, I can't stress it enough that Urban Meyer is not gonna. He'll be gone soon enough when we won't have to talk about him anymore. The good news is at least James Robinson is a bell cow.
Yeah, we're done with the Carlos Hyde experiment. That was just let's split carries because they're relatively close in talent.
Never made any sense at all. So since we're going wide receiver here, I will be taking Darnell Mooney because the Bears are kind of back, baby. Justin Fields looks good, and Darnell Mooney has been his wide receiver one so far. Allen Robinson, I believe in the talent. I'm a big Allen Robinson fan. I did the write-up for him on the Player Profiler, Roto Underworld, world famous draft kit. I love Allen Robinson, but Justin Fields at Ohio State, the knock on him was he likes to see his wide receivers be open before he throws it. Not so much Allen Robinson's game. He is more of a clasher. He makes those contested catches, and he can get open, but not the way that Darnell Mooney does, where he's literally wide open because he runs a 4.3.
Yeah, that's definitely not Allen Robinson's forte. He's more of a go up and get it.
Mm-hmm. So it almost appears that Darnell Mooney is more of the Chris Olave type, the wide receiver one for Justin Fields, whereas Allen Robinson is the wide receiver two, the Garrett Wilson. And eventually it will all come together for both of them. Oh, shoot, we got to spin this spinner for you right here. So wide receiver with your first pick, and with your second pick, you will be taking another wide receiver.
Oh boy, that's exactly what I want to do right now with my plentiful bounty of wide receivers here.
Well, it's paying us back. You know, we had one wide receiver through like 5 picks or 6 picks, 7 picks, and now we've got 3 straight receivers. So that's great. Brandon Ayuk, you don't think he comes back?
How long have we been asking that?
He just stuck in the doghouse.
I mean, there has to be some kind of story behind this that is just obviously not going to leak or anything, or at least probably not to their intention. But it's
There's the rumor, and no one has been able to substantiate it. Oh, Rashad Bateman. I knew you were smart. This is why we like having the other Manning on Jack Knows Best. Rashad Bateman and Kenny Golladay. Not worried about the Golladay knee injury?
I mean, looking at the other options here, it's not like any of them stuck out, and it's supposedly not serious.
There you go.
So you got to take a number one wide receiver this far into it. Kind of. I mean, it's hard to turn down.
Yeah, I'm not worried about him. I just wanted to push you a little bit. Seeing Rashad Bateman, you know I'm not worried about him.
Yeah.
Finally coming back this weekend, and Lamar Jackson set the Baltimore Ravens all-time passing record last night in a single game. More elite than Joe Flacco, would you say?
Yes. There's not really much hesitation or question in that department.
So Christian Kirk is going to join my squad with all of the Cardinals' love. Would rather stack Christian Kirk with did he go already, Robbie Anderson? Yeah, Robbie Anderson left. So I would still rather have Brandon Ayuk, or I would still rather have Christian Kirk than Robbie Anderson and Sam Darnold. But back to the 49ers. Rumor has it that the reason Ayuk played limited snaps in week 1 and Trey Sermon was a healthy scratch is because they missed curfew. Now, that's just Twitter rumors. I'm not the one saying it. That's all alleged. But
so they not returned from their curfew yet, or what? Because it's not changing.
Apparently, Kyle Shanahan's just that allegedly would have to be that upset about it. But
a personal huge vendetta.
as Kyle Shanahan puts it, no, Ayuk just wasn't healthy in week 1. And to be fair, Deebo Samuel wasn't healthy all of last year. And so he's finally being unleashed. But Sermon apparently was not as good as Elijah Mitchell in the preseason or in training camp. And no one was writing that. But if that's what the
they were
coaches
writing
believe,
the exact opposite. That Sermon was looking like a stellar player and he was doing everything right. And I mean, I don't understand it in any way.
Yeah, and it's almost looking like Kyle Shanahan when he makes the pick for himself. Did it with Joe Williams. Did it with I can't remember which wide receiver, AJ Jenkins, I think it was. When he, maybe that was before his time.
I think it's a little bit farther back.
Oh, Dante Pettis. Yeah, Dante Pettis. When he picks a guy that he bangs the table, has to have his guy. Sometimes it doesn't work out, as we've seen. See if this pick works out for us. It does. A little bit of freedom here with the running back wide receiver. And just a reminder, we both have one tight end at this point. There is one more mandatory tight end, and we do have a flex. So you have the option to take a third tight end, should you so desire.
Who doesn't want more tight ends?
And Trey Sermon on the board here. Latavius Murray. Mike Davis. How the mighty have fallen. Mike Davis, 5th round pick throughout the entire offseason, and now he's going in the 11th?
I mean, he's been quietly solid. Like, he's not been a bad player. It's just he hasn't been the workhorse that you expected thanks to Cordaro Patterson. The thing will be, like we said earlier about Cordaro's workload, if his goes down, if the other players continue to shine like Kyle Pitts has, and then like maybe when Calvin Ridley gets back, if those players shine, does both Cordaro and Mike Davis come down, or does just Cordaro come down and Mike Davis stay about pat where he's at? Because then we just get a whole flip-flop of the backfield.
He's getting the carries no matter what, even though Cordaro Patterson's getting the targets, and he's getting a fair amount of carries too. Mike Davis still often out-touching Cordaro Patterson. He's getting the touches, but so is Latavius Murray. So I have to go with Latavius Murray here because his bye's week 8. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Yeah, going with Latavius Murray here. I do believe in Mike Davis, but Latavius Murray is just in a much better offense, and that's where the decision point is for me.
And we saw last night that Devontae Freeman didn't really see much. Tyson was in there, but he definitely wasn't the preferred back. So you have the preferred running back in a bit of a committee in an offense that wants to run the ball at the very least.
John Harbaugh clearly trusts him. He's getting the pass protection reps. He's the most reliable. He's not the most explosive. He's not the best, but he's the one they trust, and he's getting the high leverage touches, the goal line touches, some of the receptions.
No, he's not able to hold on to all of them.
Yeah.
There was definitely a bad one last night.
Yeah, it's fine though. It was a target. Lamar Jackson had lots of open grass and decided to throw it to Latavius Murray because he trusts him. Big trust in Latavius Murray.
This first one's the wide receiver running back?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And the second one, tight end. Woohoo. Who will I pair with Mark and you're getting the good one here.
Oh yeah, I know what I'm doing there.
Yeah. It is. You got the easy answer here at tight end. Your running back wide receiver, Nyheim Hines.
Get the my finally solid running back that I won't have to worry about anymore.
He's Jonathan Taylor. You're not worried about him. He did look dominant.
That's just it. He looked dominant, and they still didn't use him at the end of the game.
Yeah, that's a mistake. Like, that's bad.
I do agree, but if we're going off base just on the usage that Coach Reich has, he's been not shy at all to give it to anybody else in the backfield. Marlon Mack looked good, but he certainly didn't have that many touches. I still think they're just trying to showcase that he's still got it.
That's where I was going to go with that. I'm not worried about Marlon Mack. It sounds like they're showcasing him for a trade, possibly with Kansas City now that Clyde Edwards-Helaire's out. Would you be interested then?
In Marlon Mack, I think it might become more of a just what it is now, but more spread out, where it's an expected committee between like McKinnon and Darrell Williams. Now you're just adding another head to the trio. I don't think that Mack has the... I don't think that he would be able to get involved quickly enough to really affect it and really take hold before Clyde Edwards starts to maybe, get back to practice and such. Because that would be even assuming that the trade happens, this week, next week, something like that.
So I took Zach Ertz here because Logan Thomas is hurt, and I'm avoiding drafting hurt players when it's already such a limited time span we have in best ball.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of not hurt, but Dallas Goedert, he's probably not playing to kick off week 6. He was placed on the reserve/COVID list earlier today, and he tested positive, and he would need back-to-back days of negative tests. So it's not looking likely.
Yeah, it's pretty safe to assume that he's unlikely to play this week.
Yeah. So
Thursday night game.
That means Zach Ertz. This is the week for Zach Ertz.
He's getting the targets. There's no doubt that the offense is Devontae Smith, then Dallas Goedert, then Zach Ertz.
Which is just crazy.
Well, considering we thought that he wasn't even going to be on the team anymore, and there was all these rumors swirling around for that. He's supposed to be in Buffalo. What would happen to Dawson Knox if he was in Buffalo?
Yeah, except, I don't know, Dawson Knox, the breakout is happening there. Dawson Knox is this year's Robert Tonyan. Robert Tonyan, last year's Tyler Higbee. Which is just unfortunate. So do I take Jeff Wilson because I think he's going to be the RB1 in San Francisco when he returns? Or do I take Alex Collins and back up Chris Carson? Because if we do, unfortunately, I didn't pay attention enough. I'm not sure about your roster, but I'm going to end up with 6 RBs. This is going to be my 5th, and there's 1 RB slot left on the board. So
I also did not pay attention enough to the running back part.
I'm a bad host. I don't pay enough attention to the wheel. We get too distracted in all this good conversation, just having fun. And so I miss the actual assignment sometimes. And that's on me. And I apologize.
We'll survive. That's the point of best ball.
I think I'm going to do it. I think I am going to pull the trigger on Jeff Wilson unless he goes off the board here. I think he does. Elijah. Oh, no.
He did exactly just that.
No. I like Elijah Mitchell, but he is a rookie, and it looks like he's struggling to really produce. Yes, he had a big game against the Lions, but since then, he hasn't been overly efficient. So there's a good chance Jeff Wilson takes this spot back over. And
this is getting pretty barren.
Yeah, I can't believe we have to take one more running back. You know what? I might just say no to that last running. We're going to turn that into a running back receiver.
Oh, okay.
So your second pick will be flex. Yeah, like I mean, 5 running backs is enough. You know what? We're punting it. We're going to the running back wide receiver, and we've got 4 picks left. So running back and then Gio Bernard, still a factor.
I don't expect there to be too many more games where, the Bucks will be trailing and be in the catch-up mode or the 2-minute. But if I catch a game here or there that he gets a receiving touchdown in the red zone or something, won't complain too much. Oh boy.
2 targets, 2 receptions, 8 yards, touchdown. Like, the Buccaneers score enough points that...
Can't say that's who I wanted to do, but I had to do it before time ran out.
I don't dislike that pick. I like Deshaun Jackson, especially in best ball when I don't have to worry about starting him.
Stafford at least searches for him.
Yeah.
If he's going downfield, he's at least taking 1 or 2 of those shots each game.
So, spoiler alert, I will be taking wide receivers for my next 4 picks. We get some choice, but we're loading up on the receivers here. This has basically just become, which receiver do you like best, Mike?
Yeah, all of our other positions are pretty set. And I mean, if you had to have this as a situation where you wanted to go 4 straight at one position at the end of a best ball draft, wide receiver is the one you want to do it with.
Yeah, absolutely. Wide receivers, you get the boom weeks. That's what you need in fantasy. Like in the running back position in a best ball, you kind of have to assume that all of your running backs hit. Like you have to assume Antonio Gibson, Chase Edmonds, and the Seahawks backfield is going to be pretty much elite for me to win this tournament. You know what? I hate that I'm going to take Amon-Ra St. Brown over Terrace Marshall, but Amon-Ra St. Brown looks like the wide receiver 1 clearly in Detroit now.
It seems like his uptick is becoming pretty evident because of, there was a short time where everybody thought Khalif Raymond was going to be the wide receiver 1 because of a couple 2 touchdown games or whatever he had, 3 touchdowns in 2 games, something like that. Somebody had to do it. Maybe they'll just keep switching all season.
Well, and Quintez Cephas is now out with the broken collarbone. Amon-Ra St. Brown, I noticed early in the season, he had a couple deep balls that Goff missed him on, and they didn't go back to it, but he was open and kind of felt like it was only a matter of time, and I'm glad it is finally working out for the kid.
And that's not something you expect for to be his game, but he's capable, especially if it turns into a jump ball, like how Cephas would normally be the guy for that. So maybe with Cephas out, they might even start looking to that more. If Raymond takes the top off by going on a go route, and then you got Amon-Ra just fighting with a defender, I don't think Goff will be afraid to target him.
It seems like he trusts him. He's running a lot in the slot as well. He could be the next Cooper Kupp for Jared Goff here and just be a target monster. Not as good of an athlete. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that, but just in terms of the usage of what he does on the field, he could be seeing a lot of targets.
Although I'm sure that he could lift more weights than Cooper Kupp.
Oh, what was Cooper? Yeah, Cooper Kupp's bench was the terrible one, wasn't it?
Oh, well, I just know that Amon-Ra St. Brown's like his dad was a bodybuilder or a Mr. Olympia or something.
Yes, his father. Osiris is his brother. I can't remember his name. I can't remember the name of Papa St. Brown, but yes, he is a Mr. Olympus.
Yeah. So at least we can figure that much out.
Yeah,
I'd put money on that.
Brother Equanimous St. Brown is with the Packers, although I believe he's on IR right now. Just an athletically talented family. And, don't get me wrong, Equanimous has never broken out for the Packers, but he's still an NFL player.
And he still is actually he's a good athlete. He just, not all great athletes turn into NFL players. Hard to believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was a fantastic athlete. I didn't turn into an NFL player.
I mean, look at the Manning family. Not the best athletes. Still did something.
I also might be exaggerating my athletic ability, but it's fine. I do get Terrace Marshall on the back end, so I do get a stack for Sam Darnold finally. I am eating a lot of insults on Twitter over my Terrace Marshall over Kadarius Toney takes right now.
Well, he has one game that completely beats Terrace Marshall's entire season.
Yeah.
Albeit he has a lot less competition.
That's the other thing. And people are like, you need to admit you're wrong right now. It's like, okay, I'll admit I was wrong on Kadarius Toney and how good he was, but I am not ready to say he's definitively better than Terrace Marshall for their careers.
I was going to say,
it's a long time.
As of week 5 in their rookie year, okay, he is more productive and playing better than Terrace Marshall.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm happy to admit that. And people are like, you need to delete this tweet. No, I need to be held accountable if I'm wrong. But I don't think I'm wrong yet. There's still plenty of time. Terrace Marshall looked much better in the preseason. So, just pump the brakes, okay? I won the preseason battle that we had. And now Kadarius Toney is winning the through 5 weeks battle.
Oh, I was so concerned as to which one it was going to be.
I had no idea. Will Fuller, you think he's fine when he comes back from the broken finger?
Well, he'll be coming back at least around the time that... Crap, who was I going to go with? I forgot.
Receiver?
Yeah, but I saw a player. I saw a player, and I was like, I should go do him. Never mind, I'll go back to that. And then once I went back, I thought, oh, crap. I forget which one I was going back to.
Well, you found your way with Russell Gage. So Will Fuller coming back around the same time as Tua? Is that where you were going?
Yeah, I think that at least he's head to IR. So he'll be a little bit after Tua because it sounds like Tua's coming back to the designated IR this week. I don't know if it's going to be he's going to practice, but he's at least heading in the right direction to be returning soon.
Well, so his 3-week practice window open, so he's going to be practicing for 3 weeks, but he doesn't officially come off the IR until they declare him active. So he can practice without being cleared.
Okay, because that's what they've done with Darrington Evans. I know now
There's
a couple players that are getting that designation. It's a rule that's been around for 1 year. So.
Oh yeah, no, it's tricky to figure it out. Oh, I don't want Tyrell Williams. That is not who I meant to click.
Don't want to
Tyrell
double up on lines, wide receivers, like most people want to do.
And Dan Campbell was saying earlier today that Tyrell Williams, he's still not quite ready, and he's been out with a concussion for almost 6 weeks now.
Yeah, that's a tough situation to be able to figure out or guesstimate.
It's almost like a Sidney Crosby concussion type of thing. So
we're going to go with fiasco.
I don't even know if I can trust T.Y. Hilton because he's also injured right now, but he could come back and be the wide receiver too that Carson Wentz needs, right?
Yeah, certainly possible. It seemed like even Paris Campbell was getting more targets than I expected him to get last night. Zach Pascal is still that guy, but that I think that Carson Wentz will rely on every so often as more of a safety blanket type thing. So
and even now, he's starting to lose some of that safety blanketness to Mo Alley Cox, who's finally breaking out.
Yeah. Just such a huge human being. He dwarfs NFL players. It's not something you normally see.
He is large and in charge when he's running routes. I've been waiting for this to happen. My co-host on Friday Night Insights, he didn't believe me that this could happen. I'm happy to say, I told you so. I told you so. I told you so. Sorry, Jordan. But make sure you tune in to Friday Night Insights every Friday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, where we will answer your fantasy questions live on air. And so wide receiver again here. Oh, I guess I should do the Wheel of Wow. See what we're going to be taking here. Oh, would you look at that? A wide receiver or running back?
I don't know. There's a lot of tempting running backs.
I believe I will be taking a wide receiver here. And
Could still do that Marlon Mack in case he gets traded.
I did that. I think I did that in our first best ball draft together, didn't I?
It's possible. Can't say I have the best memory in the world.
I think I did that, or maybe I did that by myself. I can't remember. I do a lot of best ball drafts. A lot of best ball drafts. So wide receiver off the board here. I think I'm looking at Donovan Peoples-Jones. He the wide receiver one now in Cleveland.
I honestly have no idea what it is with Odell Beckham and Baker Mayfield's just lack of complete and utter chemistry.
He just hates him. Baker Mayfield hates Odell Beckham, and it's devastating.
I think I saw on Twitter, I think it was John Costco, who had said two players that had like the most open routes or most highest percentage of open routes was like Devontae Adams and Odell Beckham.
No.
And those two are on two different sides of the spectrum when it comes to their actual fantasy production.
Yeah, Devontae Adams is one of the kings of the NFL in terms of wide receiver. Is he still a wide receiver one? He's got to be up there after that stellar game you just had.
206 yards or something.
Yeah. And then Odell Beckham he had 20 yards last week. Pardon me. What? Who did this? Who designed this? David Njoku is getting force-fed targets. He's going up for over 90, I think over 100 yards. Who designed this?
Yeah, I mean, he's a talented player, and I would love to see him on another offense that was like him by himself as the tight end one. I would love it. He's a phenomenal talent. It's just he's been stuck in Cleveland behind this, or inside this trio for a couple of years now, even.
Yeah, and apparently he wants to stay for whatever reason. Maybe it's because he is finally getting featured. Maybe they realize they made a mistake with Austin Hooper. Maybe they decide that David Njoku is the future. I don't know, though. It is not. It's not fun. Go somewhere else, no. David.
And even Harrison Bryant has looked good when he gets the chance, but he's, again, buried on a depth chart behind less stellar athletes like Austin Hooper. Yeah, and not even that Harrison Bryant's a stellar athlete, and Njoku is a phenomenal athlete.
Yeah.
But Bryant is definitely more athletic and more explosive than Austin Hooper.
Austin Hooper is just a guy.
He's proven to be the red zone threat that everybody thought he was the first, 75% of his career.
Yeah. He is just a guy. He's not explosive, and he just sits down in the zone, and if he gets a lot of targets, he can be great, but he's not good enough to command a lot of targets, so that's where we are. So with my final pick, I will be taking... There is not a lot of options here.
Could do Juju for moral support.
No. I guess we're going to double down on Lions and go with Khalif Raymond.
Not the gadget Cedric Wilson.
Not the gadget Cedric Wilson. He doesn't. It probably should have. It would make
they're
more
forcing
sense.
him a lot of stuff. I don't understand why, but even people that are I haven't seen that many of the games, just the highlights for the Cowboys, and whenever his trick plays show up, even people that like the announcers are saying, I get that he's the best trick person they have, but that doesn't make him a good trick person.
Yeah, just because you can run trick plays doesn't mean you have to, or that you should run trick plays. You don't have to force feed Tavon Austin. You just don't have to.
I knew when that signing happened that it was going to be a bad sign for some time during the season. He was going to have a spurt of two double-digit target games or something out of nowhere, and you'd just be like, why? Why are we doing this?
Because Urban Meyer is a grifter. Urban Meyer is a fraud. So that's what we're going to be left at with. And we will pull up our final rosters. Nope, not that one. Here we go.
Go through a few.
And so my roster is all about the Arizona Cardinals. And so Chase Edmonds, stack him. He's got that negative correlation with Kyler Murray, so he's good no matter what. Deandre Hopkins, he is out on the outside and going to be force-fed targets by Kyler Murray. And even if he's not, Christian Kirk will be instead because he's the slot receiver. Even though Rondale Moore is getting in for the gadget plays, he's still getting less snaps than Christian Kirk. And then tight ends, Mark Andrews is great. Sackerts is good enough to fill in. Depth at wide receiver is the strategy here, and we're just really hoping that Chris Carson's neck injury isn't a big deal. And if it is, that Alex Collins steps up big in the meantime. So not a lot to say here for my team. What do you think about yours?
I think hard to complain with the Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs stack. I mean, it's one of the better ones in fantasy for the past this year and last year. Tannehill, solid backup, can't complain. He's got enough talent, and he's actually played well. So I'm not as worried about him as I was I would have been the rest of the offense if I would have dug into a Julio or an AJ Brown type stack. But just having Tannehill kind of makes it a little bit simpler, especially if you have a stud like Josh Allen. My running backs, I can't say I'm excited about them, but Mixon's a good best ball. He's got the high upside, and I don't know why, but Zach Taylor wants to run the ball a lot more than he wants to pass it, even though based on what talent they got. Then we got the high upside guys like Javonte. Josh Jacobs going to get touchdowns. Hines and Bernard, they're standard receiving backs. They're going to get some work every now and then.
You don't want to start them in real life, but in terms of best ball, when you don't have to, they're going to have 2 weeks that they're usable.
Hines always has a 3 touchdown game almost every year. It seems like you just never know when it's going to be. And like you said, depth. I mean, depth at wide receiver was the big name here. Got a few of the injured guys Will Fuller, Russell Gage, Kenny Golladay. So I got to have the rest of them hold it down until they get healthier. But I don't have to worry about guys like Corey Davis and Stephon Diggs getting targets. And Rashad Bateman's going to be the alpha at some point. I don't know if it'll be this year. Probably not with how Hollywood Brown's been playing. But he will probably make Sammy Watkins obsolete, completely, essentially useless in the offense. I would be more worried if I was a Sammy Watkins owner, which I don't know how many people would be right now.
Yeah.
And then this Hawkinson, we got to hope for a bounce back. If not, Gesicki will probably start showing what he showed a couple games ago when he was putting up high-end tight end 1 points with even Jacoby Brissett at the helm. So
he's getting fed, and the wheel wasn't kind to us here tonight, but I still think we ended up all right, and at the very least, we ended up with friendship. So before we head out, do you want to plug your pluggables one last time, Mike?
Just be sure to keep an eye out for right before Thursday Night Football on Thursdays. Check out the website. Make sure that you find out what players are in the right matchups, what players to kind of fade for the week. Help you out for your daily, for your season long, for your dynasty. It'll be helpful for everything. So keep an eye out for that every Thursday.
And make sure you follow along with the Important Nonsense podcast streaming every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern with Steve and Neil. You can find me every Friday night over on the Friday Night Insights podcast live at 7 p.m. Eastern. And you can also find me on Friday nights, not live. Sunday nights. You'll have to wait till the morning after as we do the Club Nonsense podcast and recap each and every game from Sunday. And so thank you for joining me here tonight, Mike. Thank you for being my favorite Manning. And to all of you in the audience, thank you for tuning in, and I will see you next time.